get. He also the human player makes use of the mortar team's flare ability. And this is kind of an underrated ability, I think. I don't see a lot of human players that go mortar teams using flare. And it's just really killer to have that, especially on big maps like Lost Temple, where scouting out your opponent's expansions are key. You can use flare relatively often, and if you have a good amount of mortar teams, you can almost constantly be flaring all the natural expansion spots, and also reveals invisible units. So this scouting potential that the human army has that the Nightelf doesn't have at this point is really turning this game even more for the human player. The human player did lose his expansion, which he was fortifying with towers up at the north. It was one of the expansion spots that he opted for after he wasn't able to get the one on the natural expansion to the west. The Nightelf player went to take it out. So we were kind of I was looking at the southern position. I think the human player was depending on his militia being able to finish the town hall before the Nightelf player got there. And he did scout him out early with that scout tower there, so he knew that they were coming, but he was hoping that it would finish so he could town portal in, I'm thinking. You also noticed on the Archmage that he got Crystal Ball. Again, another really great item to get for this human. It's got really good scouting potential for the human. Everything that the human has right now is just awesome for scouting. He's got some flying machines to ping little locations if you want. He's got mortar teams with flare. He's just doing a really good job of kind of keeping tabs on the opponent. It's so very important. Again, you'll see him. He just went in to take out a few buildings, again trying to keep the human or the Nightelf just massing bears. He doesn't want to have to deal with any other mix to counter his units. He's doing a real good job of just coming in there and taking out tech buildings one after another, and then just TPing out. He's got a really good economic advantage. See, right now the human player's actually got over 3,000 gold, just insane, and over 2,000 wood, just gigantic resource advantage that he's really not even making the most of at the moment. You just noticed I've switched over to the human's view. He actually just got into high upkeep, and he's using all that money to make as many units as he can to kind of make the most of just breaking into high upkeep. He's making knights out of the barracks, and actually that's all he's doing. So he's breaking into upkeep with knights, and he's getting some upgrades. He probably could have done this a lot earlier with all those resources, so maybe something the human player could work on. Obviously, spending all your resources. You don't want to have all that gold and wood sitting around. Even at this point of the game where you've got a significant advantage, if you're just letting your economic gain go and not really making the most of it by building tech units, you're kind of hurting yourself there in the big picture, I guess. So the human player just sent two footmen over to the north standard spawning point, and the Nightelf player was setting up an expansion there, but the human player was able to take it out while it was building with just two footmen. So really, really good idea. He was able to scout that out. I think he used flare to scout that out. And you notice constantly that he's, not constantly, but every now and then you'll see the human player, if you're watching the mortar teams, shoot up a flare, and then if you're watching them from the observer point of view, you'll see like a big area getting revealed on the mini-map, and that's where he scouted from. Right there, actually, he just now used a mortar team to scout out that the Nightelf player was creeping this island expansion spot. This is a really nice expansion spot to try. You got that level 9 granite golem, and he's actually going to drop an infernal stone, which is really nice. Inferno stone, which is going to be able to summon an inferno. Really, really nice item for this Nightelf player to get. Possibly game changing, depending on how the human deals with it. So he's able to take out all these creeps, and he's clearing the expansion spot. Though I don't believe he sends any wisps to scout it out or to expand there, mainly because he knows the human player saw him creeping it. So now he's trying to decide where I need to expand, where I can expand a little bit more safely. He actually was able to walk his Tree of Eternity all the way down to his natural expansion. Again, kind of a risky move to make, expanding at your natural, because even without scouting purposes, the human player's naturally going to expect that you have an expansion at your natural. It's kind of what it is. Through experience, most human players are going to know that. Let's take a look at the food counts again. 91 on the human and 62 on the Nightelf player. I'm switching back to observer's view so I can see everybody again. Just the human player is not wanting to make this fight happen. He's very, very patient, very smartly move. He's not rushing this. He wants to secure the advantage, and usually this, it can make for slow games, but patience is going to pay off in more wins for you as a human player if you just take your time, play defensively again, and just make the most of your economic advantage, because that's one thing you have over a lot of races is that superior economic advantage that you can get on most maps, and also scouting potential. And you look over the map, you're going to see all these, if you have the color vision set. See, the human player has a lot of, I'm calling them pink farms, because he's the color pink. He's got farms all over the place and scout towers all over the place, just making sure that he's got that area of the map controlled. He did make a whole bunch of towers in preparation to make a nice expansion towards the west, but the Nightelf player now doesn't have any Scrolls of Town portal, and the human player can see that just by clicking on the unit. So that's something, if you don't do, definitely click on your enemy heroes if you have vision of them to see what kind of options they have available to him. He just used his staff to staff a bear to his Tree of Eternity as natural expansion. The human player was there to take it out. Very bad luck, I guess, for him at that point. And he doesn't have a TP, as some of the observers are saying, and the human's easily going to take out this Tree of Eternity. Now consider this. Now the Nightelf player doesn't have any type of tree. He doesn't have a Tree of Life. He doesn't have any base up. So that Wand of Teleport, or the Staff of Preservation, isn't going to work. He's not going to be able to use that now to save any of his bears. Really, really bad situation here. Again, that turning point early on in the game really is just, it just kind of went downhill for the Nightelf player. So again, the human player playing again defensively. Even now, he's got a huge army advantage, 51 food to 93, almost a 50 food army advantage. He's not going to fight it. He's going to stay back. He's going to play defensively. He's just going to take out the buildings, and again, wait until he can just pretty much auto-attack. And even now, we probably could have done it. But then as soon as he sees that Infernal pop out, he instantly town portals. He isn't going to deal with that Infernal, and he's just going to wait for the timer to run out on it before he wants to fight again. He's very, very patient and very, very smart to just play defensively like this, especially when he's got such a big economic advantage. You notice now that he spent the most of his gold, and he's going to be able to rebuy. I think he already did. He already bought another Scroll of Town portal, so yeah, he's set there. Again, using that flare to scout all the locations. He's not taking any chances. He just scouted out the northwestern Granite Golem camp over there on the river, just in case the Nightelf might have snuck an expansion over there. He knows that now it's just a matter of time to where he can, repeatedly take out the Nightelf's expansion, take out his tech buildings. See, the human player, not even that great at doing surrounds, and not even that great at micro. It just turns into kind of a macro war, and he knows that maybe he was beat versus this player when it came to turns of micro. So you see him backing off. He does, again, this is a situation where he doesn't want to fight this Infernal, which has a pretty big timer on it. So we're basically waiting for this Infernal to time out, or for the Infernal to not be in the picture before this human player is going to take advantage of it. Again, using slow on these bears, there's really down to his last few bears here. Not a very good situation, although they're coming up from behind. 2-1 bears versus, he's got Master Priest, I think. He does get Master Priest, so now he's going to have to deal with these knights, and the rest of his army going to have inner fire on them when he makes this fight. So now the human player is ready to do it. He's got Scrolls of Healing. He's got his heroes on nearly full mana. He's ready to make this fight happen. Actually, his Paladin and Mountain King didn't have that much mana, so not that great of a thing. But you notice now that he's using the bears up front, and this is a bad situation to be fighting. You don't want to fight with your bears so much up front. And I think at this point he was kind of depending on his staff to be able to save some of these bears. But then he realized that he didn't have his Tree of Life or anything up that he could town portal to, a fully constructed Tree of Life that he could town portal to, or Staff of Preservation to. So now it's just a matter of picking off these last two heroes, and the game's going to be over. Just this game really shows on how much patience can pay off, and that's the thing I really wanted to stress and point out to you guys through watching this replay. Not on both players' point of view. Whoever you want to play offensively to a point, but then there's got to be a point to where you back off and play a little bit defensively. And this human player was actually just playing defensively the whole game, so maybe that's not the point I was making. Maybe as a Nightelf player, you need to be playing offensively the whole time and really keep that pressure on, and don't let this human player get to the point where he can just auto-attack the ground. It doesn't even matter if he gets a Storm Bolt off here to kill it. It's just he can almost auto-attack the ground. It doesn't even have to kill this Demon Hunter and Warden to win this game. He does get this surround off finally, which is really nice. Using heal effectively to save his units, kills the Demon Hunter off. The human player, or the Nightelf player, can say GG. Sorry, again, shoutcasting there at the end there. It's a bad habit of mine, but I know you guys love it anyway. Talk to you guys later. Have a great day. Bye.